How are you, friends? How have you been? Uh, Lastly, we had checked on the introduction to LangChain, and as we started this journey to explore building AI agents, last time we explored a little bit of introduction using LangChain and Gemini. Today, I wanted us to go a little bit deep and check on how we can use LangChain in various implementations on our projects. So maybe if I do some recap of what I did last time, we said that LangChain is a framework for developing applications powered by artificial intelligence. It provides, number one, chains, sequences of calls to large language models or other utils. Then number two, what LangChain provides is engines, LLMs that can use tools and make their own decisions. Then LangChain, being a framework, it also provides memory. This is persistent state between chains, that is agent calls. Then LangChain, being a framework, it provides documents processing, loading, splitting and searching documents. It also provides prompts, templates and utilities for prompts. So basically LangChain is a very powerful framework when it comes to building intelligent systems, and as we have said, it provides 5 functionalities, that is chains, working with the chains, working with the agents, working with the memory, documents processing, loading, splitting and searching documents. Then it also provides us functionalities to work with the prompts, that is templates and utilities for prompts. Now today I wanted us to take a little bit diving into the LangChain functionalities, and by doing that allow me to go directly to our today's tutorial. So if I open this folder, I had created this LangChain, supposed to be LangChain. Let me just edit it. Supposed to be LangChain. So if I open it and I open, let me just terminate that one, and I open on terminal, and you can see I don't know, I had done some things with there are some settings I had messed up with. Now if you look at now from this, I wanted us to open it with our VS Code. Then we terminate this terminal here. Then we can just work with our VS Code. Now from our VS Code, you can see that I had created a .env file. This is where I have placed my Gemini API key. So I'm not going to open this file. So maybe I create another file, I call it .env.example, maybe to explain how things are going to move on. Now, with this being said, I wanted us to maybe install the core functionalities that we are going to, the core packages that we will be working with. One of the package is LangChain. Then I have there is the LangChain, then there is the LangChain Google Gen AI. Then there is the python.env. But before I do that, I have first of all to create the virtual environment. Now, what will the virtual environment give us or enable us to do? Like I said before, virtual environment enables you to create a certain environment whereby you don't have to install your packages in the entire system. So you can install your packages at that kind of an environment and use them within that environment instead of using the entire system. So how do we create a virtual environment? Like I said last time, is python -m venv. Okay, supposed to be Python 3. I'm on Linux. Python 3 -m venv. Then we give it a minute. So like you can see, let me, if I can just zoom, if you can see from my left side, from the project root folder, you can see I have created the folder that is VNV. So what am I going to do? From this folder, this is now where our environment is. This is where we are going to be installing our packages. So how do I do that? First of all, I have to activate that virtual environment. And how do I do the activating? I do Python 3. How do I activate that? I say source. This is on Linux. This is on Linux. You can maybe check on how you do that one with the Windows. You can just use your popular chat model. Then maybe check on how you do that on Windows. It's quite similar. So it source VNV bin activate. Then I just run that script. Now when you see I have done that, you can see that there is this there's this VNV that has appeared on the left side of my location description. So this one shows that we have already activated that environment, so we can work within a certain jurisdiction through which we can install our packages. Then from that environment we can now work with whatever we want to work with that has to do with our system. So from there I want to install very core packages that we will be working with. And number one of that package, let me just have a file called okay, let me show you. Let's just have a file called requirements.txt. This is what will be anything we install, we are going to be freeze into that file, so that we can track record of whatever maybe package you are working with. So I can say pip freeze requirements.txt. So if I do that, you can see this requirement.txt has been created, and from here there's nothing. So it's empty. Now what we are going to do, let's install what we are going to be working with. So anything I'm going to be installing is going to be placed at the environment folder so that we can use it within our project. So I'm going to be working with LangChain. So I'm going to be using Python installation package, that is pip install LangChain, then LangChain Google Gemini. Then I have to install python.env. Let us just give it a minute. We install everything, just a minute. And while everything is being installed, you can maybe open our Chrome and maybe open LangChain Gemini. Maybe we look at the documentation while our packages are being installed. So there is when you come to this website, for now we'll be working with the Gemini. That's why I have maybe I can just click LangChain, maybe LangChain instead of going directly to Gemini. So let's say docs. So there is the LangGraph, LangSmith. Let's start from LangChain. We will explore what LangGraph and LangSmith still means, but after you have gone maybe a little bit deeper on the LangChain. So there is this. They have used Gemini for. So Gemini is the default one for the demonstration, for the explanation. Still, you can change here if you want to work with Anthropic, that is cloud. You can change here. It's just the same functionalities. That's the power of using LangChain instead of interacting with the large language model directly, because you find out that when you are working with the LangChain, when you want to shift to another model, it's just a very simple changing, and it affects everything. And despite now working with the model directly, so you can maybe, if you want maybe to look at documentation when you're using OpenAI, you can maybe click there and see very minor things are changing. But we will be working with the Gemini. So still there is the Google Vertex. There's a Google Vertex, but we want to be working with the Gemini. So if I click there, see, so we'll be working with the Gemini 2.0 Flash. Yeah. So you can study everything here. How to guide, how to init any model. So everything is being documented here very well. Now I don't know if packages have been installed. So everything has been installed. Now, like I was saying, what you can do now, I can maybe pip freeze requirements.txt. If I do like that, whatever thing I have installed is going to be listed here. So if maybe we will be pushing our code to GitHub, we will not push this VNV. So our user, whoever wants to maybe interact with our code base, will just download, we just clone the repo, then install these packages via the requirement.txt. So maybe we want to push to GitHub, maybe git ignore. So first of all, something we'll be ignoring is VNV, the virtual environment, then .env, because that is where our very vital things are. Very vital API keys, everything is there. So we'll be doing that. But now we are not pushing. The goal of today was not to learn Git. So I'm going to terminate that, and I'm going now to come with another file called .env.example. Now, what will this one do? I want to emulate my .env file so that any person who wants maybe to work with this source code, maybe you can work with it. I don't want to open this file because that is now where my API key is, and I don't want it to be exposed. So what I will be doing, so what we will do, because I prefer coding while maybe the explainer is explaining, so that you can understand things much better. This is how my .env looks like. Google API key. It's supposed to be Gemini API key. Then everything there. You can put your Gemini API key there. Then when you look at my code base, I'm using VS Studio. There is auto completion. Now this one is the power of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is there to make our work much easier. At first I was ignoring it, and I came to realize that if I install a GitHub Copilot on my VS Code, everything will be much quickly and I will be more productive. So I recently installed the GitHub Copilot. I installed it some time ago. So my work nowadays is a little bit quickly. Let's return back there. So now we want now to work with our application. We want now to start maybe learning our LangChain, everything. So what am I going to do? I'm going to come with main.py or app.py. And from here, I'm going to, there are things we are learning. And of course, we have to initialize our LLM, everything, just from scratch, so that maybe if you never passed through the other tutorial, the last tutorial that I did, maybe you can have a glimpse of what is happening and what is needed maybe to navigate maybe to the other tutorials that will be coming even after this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to import OS. Now I have imported OS. This OS that I have imported, it will give me the power to work with maybe .env. You will see how that one will be working. So these are some of the packages that we need to work with, and without them we may not be able to work with. So I have to install from .env import load.env. That way, from .env import load.env. Then we have to from LangChain Google Gen AI, from LangChain Google Gen AI import chat Google Gen AI. So you find out there is auto completion that is being powered by GitHub Copilot, which is very essential. Now there are things from there I can maybe go directly to my maybe initializing the LLM, but before I do that I have maybe to load our environment variables, including the API key, including everything. We have to load them here. So how do we do that? I'm going to say load.env. Then by the power of GitHub Copilot, everything is searched quickly. Then I'm going to say LLM. LLM is equals to chat Google Gen AI. Then from there, of course, I have to say the model. I have to indicate the model. Now it is not 1.0 flash, 1.5 flash. It's supposed to be 2.0. Then from there, I can maybe give out my Google API key. Supposed to be Google API key is supposed to be os.getenv Gemini API key. Gemini API key. I can maybe come to .env example. Gemini API key. Well done. So from there I can maybe set the temperature. Now this temperature from the documentation temperature is 0, but I prefer 0.7. Let me just minimize this one. I prefer 0.7. Now what is the work of this temperature? The work of this temperature is very simple. In Python we comment using an hash. It is used to adjust the creativity. Supposed to be adjust temperature for creativity. This one enables us to now 0 means more focused, then 1 means more creative. That is how our model is going to be very creative. Now with that I'm going to say convert system model. Convert is a message to human, supposed to be to human, equals to true. Convert system messages to prompts. Okay, then from that let me just come and say let's just create a symbol functionality for maybe a symbol chat. Then def symbol chat. Def symbol chat. In Python we prefer a camel casing chat. Then of course I have to define my messages. These messages the work of these messages is to interact with our Gemini. So from there, from these messages I have to come up with the system message. Now I have not imported system message, so this we are going to import it from LangChain. From LangChain is supposed to be LangChain.schema. LangChain.schema supposed to be LangChain.schema. Import system message. Import human message, like that. Now from here I can now come and say can just give it a content. content. This content is supposed to be you are an F4 assistant that way. Then maybe I can now come and say human message. You can see there is auto completion, which is making work very easier. Can now say content is equals to explain maybe cloud computing, explain cloud, maybe explain blockchain technology, explain blockchain technology in simple terms. Now with that one, you see the auto completion is making work more and more easier. Then I can now come and say response. Response is equals to LLM messages. Then I can now come and say print response.content. That way, print response.content. Then from that, I can maybe come and make our API call. I can now come and say symbol chat. Then I can just call it from down there. Let's see everything is very okay. With that, we can maybe come and try to look. Maybe let me just copy this. We try to use the terminal instead of the embedded terminal now VS Code. Let's just use this. So I can say cd that. Then I can activate maybe the environment. Source VNV bin activate. Then from that I can maybe list to see what's inside. Then I can say python 3 app.py to see if everything is okay. Import error. Cannot import name chat Google Gen AI from cannot import chat, cannot import import error. Let's try to solve that. Let me see from the requirements. Let me see from the requirements if I have installed that. I have already installed it. So if I come back, let me just come back and see what's the issue. Let's say import LangChain, import LangChain Google. Let's say Google Gen AI. Supposed to be it's from this package. We are import chat generate, supposed to be generative AI this way. Then of course we remove this and come and maybe replace it here. I presume everything is okay. If it's not okay, we will have to go back to the documentation and check if everything is okay. So let me just clear everything. Let me view, zoom in. Let's zoom in. Then I can maybe list Python app.py import error langchain.schemas module found error. Now module named langchain.schemas. So supposed to be, why is this error supposed to be langchain.schema? Let's see. So everything is working very okay. response. Okay, imagine a digital ledger like a notebook. So everything is now here. Imagine you and your friends are keeping track of the, okay. So you see everything is working very okay. So what we have done is we have print response.content. That is the response from the LLM. That is the response from the LLM. That is the response from the LLM. So maybe let me just clear that. Let me see. No, let me just return that. Then let's just come here and say print maybe response like that. Let's see. Let's see. So this is the entire response, but you can look at this response. It looks like a dictionary. So what we are supposed to do, we're supposed just to interact with the content. To interact with content, that is now what Gemini has given us. So if I say response.content, and I come here and say print, maybe want to print some empty spaces. Let me see. So I can just put that so that you can maybe differentiate from. Let me now see. Let's now see. So there is this space. Now our content now begins from here. Okay, imagine now this is the explanation. Now this one is the feedback from. This is the feedback from Gemini. This is the feedback from Gemini. Now by doing this, what we have done is we have just done maybe a symbol chart. We have just done a symbol chart. Let's see how. Now there is another thing we have to learn is that we have to check on how we do LangChain. LangChain maybe doing prompts. How do we do LangChain maybe doing prompts? So what we are going to do, we are going to say from. Let me just comment this. I comment that. Then I can just say from LangChain prompts import. Let's see how we work with the prompt. Import a prompt template. Import prompt template like that. Then from there, I don't know if maybe we will be interacting with something else. Then I can say, of course, we will need maybe a LangChain. From LangChain import, from LangChain.chains import, LLM chain. So I can just import it that way. These are what we'll be working with. Then of course here I need chat prompt. I need chat prompt template. Chat prompt template. Then there is the auto completion from GitHub Copilot. Then I can maybe say prompt template. Prompt template is equals to chat prompt template from messages. Prompt template is equals to prompt. Supposed to be prompt template. Then I open this. Then this, of course, we have to give it input variables. Now from here, the first thing these are placeholders. I give it a topic. Then from this topic, I also want maybe something like an audience, like that. Then how do we do that? Of course, I have to have what we call now template, the most important thing. And I will explain what is more important when we are working with the prompt templates. Now, prompt template is like a reusable component. Those who come from full stack development, you understand when you are working in something like React or something like Angular, Next.js or Vue, instead of you recording maybe a particular component, maybe like a card, you can simply come with one component and keep reusing that component. Now, this is what now prompt template does. It gives you a certain functionality whereby you can code a simple component and reuse it across your entire application. Now, we need now this template, instead of recording prompts, instead of giving prompts, you can just use a simple prompt template, then you reuse it across anywhere we want. Then, of course, here we want template. One template is equals to Of course, we need a lot of description. So by that, you can just have this so that you can maybe give an heavy description there. Then you can say explain. Explain, let's see, explain maybe topic, explain topic to our audience, audience and make it engaging and easy to understand. We can now say use examples and okay, let's just complete that, and analogies where appropriate. Then I can now come here and say what? I can now come here and say chain. Chain is equals to LLM chain. From this I can say LLM is equals to LLM, then prompt is equals to prompt template. Then I can now come here and say div. We want to maybe come up with a functionality that maybe you can explain maybe a particular topic. Then I can say explain topic. Then I can say topic. Then there is of course topic and the audience. Then what is this is the power of GitHub Copilot. You don't have to write everything. Everything is being auto-completed. Then from there I can say maybe let's just minimize that. Then I can clear that functionality. Then I can say resort is equals to chain.run, topic is equals to topic, audience is equals to audience. Then I can now come here and say return result. Now instead of using result, let me use something like response makes more sense, or response. Then I can maybe say return response. Then I can now come here and say print explanation. No. Let me come here and say what? Let me come here and say const explanation. No, this is from JavaScript. I can say explanation. Explanation is explain topic. Yeah, explanation. You can just have something like that. Explain topic this way. Now I have already commented this, so I'm not going to use that one. So with that, I can now come and maybe run our application to see now how we work with prompt templates. Warnings.m convert to message will be let's see. So what we do is we print explanation and we leave it there. So let me just run it again. I just forgotten that. So there is no error. So maybe for very clear thing to be seen, can maybe come and say then I can come here and say print explanation that way. Then I can say so that at least something can be seen, so that at least there can be clarity. Let's see. So you are going to skip some lines so that maybe you can see the correct description very well. So from there now you can see, all right, everyone, picture this. You are all running a Excel at high school, but instead of just, so you can see how this one is more important. Now, that is the power of working with the template. Now you see we have this template that we have created here, and we have this functionality. So we can just keep on maybe having different functionalities instead of keeping making only similar, making different prompts. So there is a way we can work with this one, just having a simple template and make it reusable across the entire system. So I'm going to delete this because there is something which is very much important that we have to go through. Now, what is that thing that we have to go through? Let us look at something we call context memory, maintaining context memory. What is the importance of maintaining context memory? It is very essential. You see, when you are working with something like ChatGPT, you find out that when you give it maybe a particular question like, who is Albert Einstein from above? Then it will explain to you Albert Einstein, or this scientist that came up with the theory of time relativity. He came up with the formula called E is equals to mc squared. It will give you all of that. Now that one is the power of model. Now, we need now to maintain what we call memory. That is context. You see, without maintaining memory in any kind of chat system that we are building, what happens is that you are just interacting with the LLM, and every prompt that you make to the LLM is actually independent. Actually is very, very independent. Now, without memory, each message to the AI is independent. With the memory, the AI remembers your previous question and can have a coherent conversation. So, how we are going to do that is very simple. Now, I want to comment this one because I don't want it to be printed once again. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a comment there, and I'm going to say, working with context memories, maintaining contextual memory, maintaining contextual memory. Now, how do we maintain contextual memory? Now, there are different ways that you can do that. If you are building a real world application, it is recommended that you work with something, a database, that can now maybe maintain a very long persistence. But because of our setting, we are just going to implement a particular functionality that have been offered by LangChain. But in real world situation, or when you are building good systems that you want them maybe to go on production to scale, you are recommended to install or maybe to configure a database. Then you can use that database maybe to maintain your memory. Now, we are going to work with the, let me show you. Let's first import very important things here. From LangChain.memory import, yes. From LangChain.memory import conversation buffer memory. Then from LangChain.chains import conversion chain. Import conversation chain. Now, I want to define a very important thing here. I'm going to define memory, and you can look at it. Everything has been concluded there, but you don't need these parameters. When we have time, I will come and explain that very well, maybe in our next tutorial. Then I can now come and say conversation is supposed to be conversation is equals to conversation buffer, conversation chain. Then of course this one will receive various parameters, and one of the parameters is supposed to be this. So by the help of GitHub Copilot, everything is being auto-completed very well. Now this LLM will be our LLM. This what we initialized will be our LLM, that is Gemini. Then memory will be our memory. How we have configured, how maybe we want to set, or how maybe we want to keep track of our memory. Now the work of verbose. I want to explain what this verbose does. Now, verbose means that the conversation chain will print out or log more information during execution, which is helpful for debugging or understanding how the chain is working under the hood. Now, this verbose means that our chain will be printing out or logging out more information during execution. This one is very essential in doing what? In debugging or understanding how the chain is working under the hood. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to come up with a various functionality, maybe a maybe a function. Then I'm going to say define chat with the memory, chat with the memory. Now this one is a different chat from this one, now this one is a different chat from this symbol chat. Now because this one is memory based, so this one is memory based. Which one? Chat with the memory. Now this one is memory based. So Gemini had completed, GitHub Copilot had completed there. So I can say print chat with the Gemini. Maybe want to work with the Gemini, chat with Gemini. Maybe I'll just say user input. So I want to come up with a scenario whereby we can have various inputs. Let's see. Okay, what are we going to print? Okay, print chat with the Google Gemini with the memory chat with the Google Gemini with the memory, and maybe this guy will be required if maybe he's interested with quitting. So you can say type quit. Maybe you can just maybe type exit to exit. Maybe I can just come here and remove one quote there. Yes, then I can maybe come up with a loop, then say while true, and see, while true, user input is equals to input if user input dot lower is equals to exit break. So this dot lower, the important of this one is that the user may maybe input something exit with a capital E. See, so this one dot lower, the purpose of this is to convert user input into lowercase. So response is equals to conversation dot run, that is you are going to run user input, and with that we can now come and say chat can maybe call that that functionality. Then I can just have okay, what are we going to do? So user input. Okay, let me just let me just work with these suggestions that have been given by GitHub Copilot. Then I can just exit it that way. Who are you? So let me run here everything. So what I'm going to do, I want to come and comment this. Okay, everything is commented. So with this, I'm going to do what? I'm going to, before I print here, I'm going to be maybe skipping 2 lines, so that at least we can have maybe some clearance. So I can maybe come here and maybe clear everything. So I can Python 3 app.py, chat with the Google Gemini with memory, type exit to exit. What do I want? Who is Albert Einstein? Albert Einstein. So everything is very okay. So I have given it who is Albert Einstein. Let's see. Let's see how this one is printing. It's supposed to be response.content. Let's just give it a response.content so that at least there can be very good. Let me just clear everything. Then I just run again. So who is Albert Einstein? Let me just ask it, who is Albert? So let me just come and say this thing that I wanted it here can maybe copy it from there, come and paste it here, there, goes there, so that maybe can see what's happening very well. So I can maybe cancel that, then I can say Python 3 run. So who is Albert Einstein? Einstein, and be brief. Be brief. So who is Albert Einstein, and be brief? So okay, let's see. Let me just print the response. Let me just print the response. Who is Albert Einstein? Who is Albert Einstein? So assistant, okay. Finished assistant, well, okay. Albert Einstein was a German theoretical physicist who is widely regarded as one of the most influential and important scientists of the 20th century. Okay, so it has already given me feedback. Let me ask it one question. What are some of the most remarkable achievements he is remembered for? Okay, so theory of relativity, which I was I was thinking that this one will be the first one. Theory of relativity, this one was a very important and very essential concept. So there's the photoelectric effect, there's the Brownian motion, cosmology, then Einstein refrigerator. So you can look at this. So you can look that we can come up with a chart system that can maintain memory with what has been happening. So I can maybe ask Gemini, in maybe cosmology, I'm interested, maybe I can tell Gemini, I'm interested with what Einstein did in cosmology. Now this one was the very most important thing. Actually, he was working on cosmology before he died. I think he was working on the cosmology. He wanted to come up with a theory for everything. He wanted to summarize every force of nature in one theory. I think it has to do with cosmology. I'm not so much into physics. Let me ask a Gemini. I'm interested with what Einstein did in cosmology. Explain it to me. Maybe explain it to me. Okay, assistant, okay, let's dive into Einstein's contributions to cosmology. So actually this one is supposed to be assistant. Let me see, let me come and put here dot assistant. Let's see, let me come and edit, clear everything. Who is Einstein? Einstein. Who is Einstein? Let me say who is Nikola Tesla? Who is Nikola Tesla? So assistant is equals to response. So print, okay. Supposed to be, let's see, assistant.content. Let me see. Just wanted some very good explanation. Who is, maybe, let's say, who is Albert? Who is Elon Musk? Let's see. I don't know. Okay, let's just work with the response. But generally, you have seen that everything is working okay. I will find out on my free time how to destruct that one. let's see. What who is Donald Trump? Okay, Donald Trump is an American businessman, television personality, and a politician who has served as the 45th president of the United States from 2017. Okay, what are his relationships with Barack Obama? So with that, we can maybe ask. So early interactions before Trump entered into politics, he and Obama had few cordial interactions. Trump donated to Obama's presidential campaign in 2008. Obama even poked fun at. So you can look at this thing, is so powerful. So today you have looked at working with the prompts. From I just did the small intro of what we did yesterday, maybe the other time ago. So maybe if you not came across that tutorial, you can look at that. We just introduced how you work with the LangChain. Then there is maybe implementing a simple chat. Then we have seen how to implement maybe a prompt template. Then we have seen now how to interact with the LangChain with chat with the memory. So working with the LangChain is very essential when it comes to building apps in 2025 and onwards, because now from 2025 onwards we'll be building intelligent systems, not just dumped systems. We'll be building autonomous systems that can learn on their own, systems that can make decisions on their own. So with that said, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel and help it to grow. If maybe you are interested, if you can maybe you are interested, you can look at my portfolio from the description. Then maybe you can get into contact with me from the WhatsApp, from the portfolio. There's a way you can maybe interact with me on WhatsApp. You can also text me, and I believe we will go far. So with this said, allow me to finalize the day of today from there. So subscribe and share. So thank you for listening to me, and my God bless you.